everybody, it's Kathy Champion and welcome back to my craft room, and you're here at Random Acts of Crafting. As I told you earlier or last week that I was planning on doing some Valentine cards starting the first part of February. So I had a really busy weekend, so I didn't get a chance to do anything other than getting that last video up on our photo folio, and everybody seemed like they really loved that project. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching that. But now we're going to move on to some Valentine cards, and I'm going to show you my supplies that I have out for this particular card. I have a heart punch, and this is a EK Tools, just a basic heart. And I'm not even sure the size of it. It makes a heart about 1 3/4 inch by 1 1/2, something like that. So it's not real big, but sufficient. I also have an embossing folder, and this one has a beautiful scrolled corner on it. It goes from the top all the way to here, and it leaves some open space right there. So we're going to do something with that. I have a die that says Cherish, and I think that's so cute because the people we love, we do cherish, and I thought that would be so pretty on the front of the card. So that, we have that. I also pulled over this Dots and Stripes 8x8 paper pack. This is available in my store, so if you're interested in grabbing one, I'll have the link below. I also have a piece of, I think this one is called Heather, Brutus Monroe cardstock. This is the Rouge, and this is just a basic piece of Nina 100-pound cardstock. So, the first thing I want to do is, let's go ahead and cut the panel for our card, and or our card base. And I'm going to make this card an 5x7 card. I'm sorry, I'll get it right in a minute. A 5x7. So for my card base, I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. So let's go ahead and grab our trimmer. I cleaned up my craft room, so you know what happens when we clean our craft room? We can't find anything. Oops, wrong one. That's the one I use for my chipboard, and I've got to get another blade because that blade is so dull now, it will not cut my chipboard anymore. Okay, in order to get a 5x7 card, always remember this formula. The 5 has to be 10 so you can fold it in half, and the 7 is going to be this way. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut this down to 10 on the long side. You always want to do your largest measurement on your largest side. So I'm cutting that to 10, then I'm going to turn it here and I'm going to cut this to 5. Oh, I'm sorry, 7. It's going to be a 5x7. I almost messed that up. Did you see that? Alright, I'm going to cut that off at 7. And then we are going to score this at 5. And this will give us a 5x7 card. So let's pull our scoreboard up. Putting it in on the 10-inch side. We're going to score it right in the middle at 5 inches. So right here. Okay, so I'm going to bring that over, bend it up, and now we have our card base. I got something. I sharpened some pencils a while ago, so I think that might be a piece of lead or something from where I don't want to get that on my card, that's for sure. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just give a good crease on that. So now our card base is ready. So the next thing we need to do is cut our cover for our card base. So this one I'm going to cut, I want it to come all the way to the edge. So I've got a piece of the Nina White cardstock, and I'm going to cut this at 4 7/8. 6 7/8. And the reason I'm cutting the base a little bit larger, I know I usually go for the 3/4 inch, but the reason I'm doing that, my embossing folder is a 5x7, and I want to get as much of this on my card as I can. So I'm going to open this up. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. That was one of my children calling. Actually, my baby girl. And the reason I have baby sharks on there is because her little girl, which is my precious little granddaughter that's 3, she loves baby sharks, so I put that on there when I was up there, and I've not changed it. So anyway, getting back to where we were, this is my my folder, but I'm thinking maybe it was a good thing I got the phone call, because I got to thinking I don't know that I'm going to be able to use this punch on this card because of where I want my heart to be. And I think what I want to do is I want my heart to be right up in here. I can't run it through the die machine after I emboss it, because flattening it back out again, I will lose my embossing. So with all that being said, I think what I'm going to do is get a die, and I have some hearts down here. I have some layered hearts like this, and I think I want one about that size. That's a really good size for what I want, and I want it to go right about, let's see, I'm going to lay this in here. This is what you need to do when you're looking at where you want something to fall. I know that this is going to be here and here, so I want this heart about there. So I'm going to eyeball it, and I'm going to put this heart down right about here. And I'm going to hold it, and we'll take it to my die machine. Now, for the sake of time in the video, I'm not going to bring over my die machine and put y'all through watching me cut this heart out, because y'all have watched me cut many times with my Revolution. So I'm just going to run that through and run it back. And I'm going to leave this particular die out because I am going to use it again. So I'm going to leave that lay right there. And now what we can do is go ahead and put this in here, and we can emboss it. So I am going to lay that in just like that. And let's find my embossing plate. This is one thing I love about this machine. It's so easy because the one plate is for cutting, this one is for embossing, and the 2 bottom plates stay the same. It is like an absolute dream for what this machine does, and it's such a good price point. I still have one in my shop if anybody's interested in it. And I'm going to crank that back through. Now let's look at our embossing and see what we have. Oh, that's so soft and so pretty. I don't know if you can see it. There, like that. I think the light is catching it. Isn't that gorgeous? And then what I want to do is I want this to go on here. But before I put this down, I'm going to get a piece of this Dots and Stripes. I want it to peek through that hole. And I also want to run this back through, this little heart that we cut out. I'm going to run it back through because I want a little bit of that scrolliness on it. So I think I'm just going to lay it in there, maybe about like this. Just kind of get it where you want it and then close it down on it. That looks good. So I'm going to run this back through and emboss just that little heart. Like I said before, you know, the little details that you put on your cards or any of your paper projects is what adds so much and makes your cards distinctly yours. So there's that little piece, and it's embossed just like the card. What I want to do is I want to tuck this heart. I'm going to pop it up and put it under there, but I want to cut a circle that's going to glue up underneath here. And I want to make it, I want it to match this paper as best as possible. That's not bad, but I think there's one, I think that one's better. What do y'all think? I think that one, let's see. I love this dots and stripes. I think it's so pretty. Look at that. Oh, that's pretty. I can't make up my mind, y'all. Let's see, that one's pretty. That's a little bit darker. That one's perfect. Alright, I'm going to take a piece of this, and I only need, you know, I think I can probably punch that with a circle. Let me get my circle punch out. And let's see if this will cover it. Nope, we're going to have to go one size up, so that was a 1 3/4. So I'm going to pull out my 2-inch punch. And that's this one right here. And again, this is EK Tools. And I am going to punch a piece of this. And I'm not even going to tear my sheet out of the book, out of my pad. I'm just going to punch it right here. You know why? Because I'm going to probably want to use this for something else, and I don't want it loose. I want it to stay in my paper pad. So not like that. And again, this is just me giving you some ideas on how you can make things. Oh, that's pretty too. Look at that. Let's turn it over. Yeah, I love polka dots. I think I'm going to have to go with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that over, and I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive around my heart, and then just stick this down to it. So, because we just want it to adhere around here. So just like that. And then we're just going to bring this over and lay it down on top of it. Just like that. Pick it up, and you're going to squish it down. Making sure we work that in. That glue gets all in there. And now that is done. The only other thing we need to do is pop this up on some pop dots. So let me grab my, do I want to do pop dots or do I want to do scotch? Decisions. I think I'm going to use the scotch tape. It's easy. It's easy peasy, and it's right here at my right hand, so that makes it even easier. So I'm going to grab a pair of scissors, and I'm going to cut, I think one piece might be enough, or maybe 2 small ones. Let's see how this works. Yeah, I think we can do 2 small ones. And then another one on the other side. Right about there. Make sure it's not hanging over. You know, if it is hanging over, just take your scissors and just whack it just a little bit. Get your scissors right up under the edge. Just knock that down like that. And that looks good. Always make sure you check your scissors for adhesive though, because you do not want adhesive on your scissors. That's usually not a good thing. So I'm going to grab my little picky tool, and this is my old picky tool. And then I want that just to overlap just a little bit right there. And then this is going to all live on top of here. But I do want to use that cherished sentiment, and I think I want it to go across here. And I'm trying to decide if I want it in the light pink or if I want it in the, I think the light pink is going to look much better. I don't want it to clash. Let's see if we can do it. This is a strip that I cut off of my pink cardstock, and that fits beautifully. Now, if you're probably wondering where did this come from, this die cut came out of one of my January die set of the month club kits. I was getting spellbinders at one point monthly, and this was one of them. So I don't know if it's still available, and I don't remember if this was 18 or 19. It was one of the two. But I'm going to go ahead and run this through my die machine. And if you can't find the word cherish, you can always do love. There's a lot of words of love in die cuts. You could stamp something out on a cardstock and trim it out and put it on the front of your card. There's so many different ways that you could do this. So, don't limit yourself to just, use what you got. So, I always say that my the cards that I make are just for inspiration, not for you to have to do it exactly like mine. So I challenge you, to change it up, make it different. I just kind of wanted to give you the inspiration for this. And I saw this card on Pinterest, and I thought it was simple and yet so elegant. And it didn't have cherished on it. This was me changing it up from what I saw on Pinterest. It did have a scrolly thing around it. It did have the hearts. I don't think it was polka dot. I don't even remember what it was, but it was totally different. And I am going to glue cherish maybe right here. I've still got a couple of little things to punch out. That did not punch well. Let's see if we go this way. Oh, yeah, I think that did it. Sometimes these little pieces like this won't come out. You're better off just to leave them. That might have just been meant to stay right there like that one is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my little Nuvo precision tip glue pen. That's if I can find it. I think I moved everything around yesterday, and now I won't be able to find anything. I'm sure y'all have never done that. Oh, goodness. I'm being so... Here it is. It's up here with my tape. How about that? I actually put it where my adhesive is. Now, if you have not tried one of these, oh my goodness, you are so missing out. This is such a pleasure to use because intricate dies like this, it's always so hard, even with the fine metal tip, which I need to put my pen back in. Even with the fine metal tip, you get too much glue on it, you make a mess, you get glue all over everything. This is so different. You shake this up, you open it up, and I usually clear my end in case there's some residue glue on it, and there usually is. Probably wouldn't be if I wipe it off when I put it away, but I usually don't. Now with this, you can just mash it down, and look at that. It's like a ballpoint pen. And you can put your glue right where you want it. So I'm just going to get here and there, little pressure places that I want to make sure that this sticks. And it stays wet long enough to allow you to get the glue all around it without it drying on you, and I love that. So I'm going to wipe that off this time, stick my top back on, and then I'm going to lift this up. Oop, 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 oop. Do y'all see what I did? I dropped it and got all the ink on my... That's okay, we'll clean that up in just a minute. I'm going to lay this right about here. I might have to re-glue it because I think I did knock off most of my glue. And let me get a wet wipe. And we may have to just take that over here and re-glue it again. That's okay. You know, little mishaps like this happen in life. And what do? We just roll with the punches. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to roll with the punches. Yeah, I think we're going to have to, let me use my microfiber towel and dry this off. I don't want to lay my card down where I just wipe the glue up, because then I will get my card wet, and that's not a good thing. Let's see if it adhered a few places. It seems like it might have adhered here and there. So I am going to wipe my hands, and then I'm going to grab this pen, and I'm going to come back under here and put some down. And had I not dropped this, y'all would have been so impressed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the glue off of my fingers, and then I'm going to use my bone folder, and I'm just going to press it down, because this is Teflon and hopefully it won't stick. There. I think we got it. I love the way that word is kind of curled around. It gives the card just a little bit more definition. I think it's very, very beautiful. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this over, and I'm going to use art glitter glue, and I'm going to put art glitter glue all around my edges. I'm just dangerous with glue today. It seems like lately, me and glue just have not been friends. If any of y'all saw me struggle with my glue and making my photo folio, the last couple of videos was horrible. But you know what? I fixed my glue tip, and all is well in the world. And it was totally my fault. I had thought I had cleaned it, but I really didn't clean it thoroughly. So here's a tip. If you're using a fine metal tip on your art glitter glue and you need to clean it, make sure that the water is running all the way through your tip. I mean, drip, 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 drip is the way it should be. So if it doesn't do that, it's not clean yet. Alright, so this is our first Valentine's Day card in our series, and I promised that I was going to do some heat embossing with y'all. So I am going to find a sentiment for inside, and I didn't do that ahead of time, so allow me to go and search for some stamps, and I'm going to find a cute little lovey-dovey sentiment to go in the middle, and when I come back, we're going to do some heat embossing. So hang tight, I'll be back. Sorry about that. I grabbed another piece of white cardstock because I want to cut a piece to go inside of here. And then I want to be able to decorate it. So I'm going to cut the same size I have on the outside, which was 6 7/8. And let me find my trimmer. When you're trimming, it is a very, very good idea to not have anything sitting on your trimmer. And any of my seasoned crafters, y'all know this, but I'm talking to any of my new and inexperienced crafters. You learn by doing and you learn by hearing. So if you are new to crafting, you know, the tips that you receive from myself and other YouTubers that are into paper crafting can be so valuable. So take those little lessons. And if your trimmer is sitting on top of something, it's not even. Sometimes it's hard to make sure your paper's straight, and you just may not get a good even cut. And then you're wasting your paper. We don't like to waste our paper. So I'm going to cut that at 4 7/8. And we're going to cut it this way by 6 7/8. And let's lay these over here. And I've got a stamp set that I absolutely love. This is probably one of the first ones that I bought from Bill and Tracy, and it's the Love You stamp set. And I loved it because I fell in love with Hartley. I think Hartley is so cute, and the reason they call him Hartley, if you look, his tail's a heart, his paws are a heart, his body is a heart, his chest is a heart, his head is a heart, and his ears is a heart. I think he is so stinking cute. He is totally adorable. So I think for just a little fun, we're going to put Hartley on the inside of this card. And what I'm planning on doing is stamping him. And I think because I'm going to be using my Versamark, I'm going to pull out, oops, sorry about that, my Misties were magnetized together. So when I picked up one, they both came and one of them dropped. And of course the weaker link was the one that fell loose, which was my small one. So let's get this over here. I don't need these, so I'm going to take those out. If I can get them to come up. There we go. Let's see if I can straighten this paper out a little bit. It looks a little wonky. That's okay. I am going to lay this in. Like I said, the paper's not straight, and that will drive me insane. So give me just a second. I may even have to change this paper out. Let's just turn it over for right now. I'm going to put this all the way to this bottom right-hand corner. That way if it lifts when you're stamping, you can always reposition. So I'm going to do Hartley first, because I'm thinking what I want to do with Hartley is I want to stamp him and emboss him, heat set him, and then go back and do some watercoloring with him. I think that's what I want to do. But let's see. Maybe I don't. Maybe I want to just stamp Hartley. So let's do Hartley first. Let's put our magnets back on here, so hopefully they won't, our cardstock won't move too bad. Anybody that's used a Misty, y'all know these magnets are very potent, very powerful, and you do not want to get them to hit together, because that's not a good thing. Now I am going to turn my Misty around this way so I can get a better angle of what I'm doing. Okay, and now I'm going to get my Versamark ink, and of course it's over here in my embossing box. I'm going to go ahead and take out my coffee filters. And what's the other thing we need? We need our embossing buddy, our little powder tool. And I want to figure out, I've got this pink champagne. I wonder how pink champagne would look on the inside. Let's try it. This is a piece of cardstock. We have not dedicated it to the card yet, so if we mess up, we'll just start over. Alright, the first thing I want to do before I go any further is I want to put down some of my anti-static powder. And to do that, we're just going to take and rub this very liberally all over. And the reason I'm putting it all over is because if I have any oils, residue, glue, anything like that on my hands, and I touch this, wherever that embossing powder hits, it's going to leave an impression, and I don't want that. I want the embossing powder to only go where I put my stamp. So here, where did I do? I think my Versamark's right here. And this is just a sticky ink that we use for embossing. So I'm just going to load Hartley up very liberally. Lots and lots of that sticky ink. And then we're going to bring him over and stamp him down. Oh, that's a good impression. Very good impression. So I don't know that I'm going to, I don't know. I usually do it twice whenever I'm working with Versamark, just for good measure. It looked like it might have picked up a little bit of my black ink off of this because I did use black the last time I used Hartley. And if you're interested in this stamp set called Love You, the Love You stamp set, these are available at mindlesscrafting.com, and many of you are already familiar. Many of you probably have this stamp. This is Bill and Tracy Phillips. They own the company, and they have a Facebook page, and they also have their YouTube channel. So if you're not familiar with them, go check them out. They very, very sweet people, very instrumental in helping me get started with my channel. They have endorsed my channel. They've helped me reach my goals. I cannot say enough of nice things about these people. They're so loving and giving. So check them out. And check out their store for their stamp sets. They have some of the cutest. And all of their stamps really do stamp well. So what I'm doing now is I'm just putting the embossing powder on Hartley. And I'm going to put a little bit more, just to give him a double dose. And I'm using the Pink Champagne by Brutus Monroe. Now, if you haven't used Brutus Monroe embossing powders, you have not lived as a paper crafter. I absolutely love, 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 love his embossing powders. They are gorgeous. Now, if you look real closely, you see it picked up a little bit right there. I'm going to take a small, very soft brush, and I'm just going to try to brush that excess powder away. And blow on it a little bit. But that's what you want to look for. And if you are moving it, be very careful, because you don't want to move it off of your lines where you have it set, and it will move if you're not careful. So let's go ahead and grab our heat gun. What did I do with my... See, when you clean up your craft room, you have trouble crafting. Now I'm going to turn this on, and it's going to be rather noisy, so I'm going to turn the sound off, and as soon as I get it heated up, I will be right back. Okay, I told you it's noisy, but I wanted you to see this. And I'm going to hold it up here so you can see when this changes color. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? I love it. I so am in love with these embossing powders. Now my paper did warp a little bit, but that's okay. We'll put something on it to flatten it out. It'll be fine. I love the way that looks. I love that softness, and I think what I might do with Hartley, I might just color him in very light pink. And I am going to use my Nuvo markers. I also have these available in my store. So if you're interested in some good alcohol markers for a wonderful price, these right here cannot be beat. I love them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go inside where these ears are at. And this way you don't have to worry about going out of line, because you're holding in line with that embossing powder. Isn't that cute? Hartley's going to be a pink dog, so maybe it's going to be a Hart she instead of Hartley. How cute. Oh, him got pink ears. And you know what? I think Hartley is comfortable in his masculinity that he could wear pink and not think a second about it. So we are going to just go ahead and pink up our little Hartley dog. Isn't he adorable? Now there's a new stamp that they have out that's dog lovers, and Hartley grew up. Here Hartley was more of a puppy, but Hartley grew up, and I still love him. He's got a little bit more dimension with hairlines and things like that, but I still love my original Hartley. He has a special place in my heart. Look how cute. And y'all are getting to watch me color. I know some of you said you love to watch people color. And I always think I need to fast forward through this because I don't really care to watch people color. I'm really anxious on seeing the finished product so much that I really would rather you go off camera, color, and come back. But you know, there's so many people that just really enjoy the tranquility of watching someone color. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your jam, go with it. Now I did make his little chest a little bit darker, but now I want to grab a darker pink. So I'm going to go down to the darkest shade. I don't know, I think that one's going to be too dark. Maybe the middle shade of the pink flamingo. Let's see what that one looks like. These are new, so they're hard to get the caps off of. But you know what? We got tools, and I know how to use them. So I use that little tool for everything. Let's try his tongue in that color. Oh yeah, I think Hartley is gorgeous. Alright, so now we need to do a sentiment, and for my sentiment I'm going to also heat emboss because I know y'all wanted to watch a little bit more of the heat embossing technique. And I think I'm going to use this Mermaid Tail. This is such a beautiful blue. Again, Brutus Monroe. I cannot say enough good things about him. And I am going to put I love you. I'm going to put it right about there. I am going to put hugs and kisses. I'm going to put hugs and kisses right here. And we're going to put, as y'all can see, I get way too many phone calls. That was actually my husband. He is on his way home from work, so I always want to take his calls. So I think what I'm going to do is put hugs and kisses right here, and then put this right here. And I want this to go up a little bit, and maybe that up a little bit, and this right about there. I just want to kind of balance that out a little bit. Yeah, I think like that's good. So let's bring our Misty back up. I need to get Mr. Hartley cleaned up and get him out. But we're going to put Mr. Hartley over here for right now, and I will clean him in just a moment. Let's bring this back in. And let's bring it down to this corner. Just like that. And we'll put that one there. These on this corner. Just like that. Straighten these back up. I think I changed my mind. I think I want my hugs and kisses. Okay, I'm going to move these around with my eraser so that it doesn't stick to it. They're sticking to my hand really bad. So this way we can try to get them straight. And that needs to go down just a little bit. And this one needs to go up. You can tell with your grid before you actually close it down on it, you can look at it and see if you've got it straight. That's another good thing about the MISTI. So again, I'm going to use the Versamark ink, and I'm going to ink these up really, really, really good. And I'm going to bring them over. And really press them in so you can try to get as good of an impression as possible. I'm going to do it one more time. Like I said, anytime I'm using Versamark, I like to ink it as much as possible. Okay, so we're going to take this out, and I am going to get me another little coffee filter. These coffee filters work so good for doing this, and we're using this beautiful blue. This is so pretty when it's heated. Oh my heavens, is it gorgeous. And I thought it would just be a nice contrast against all the soft pink. And it's, you know, a little bit more fun than just using black. And see why I like my coffee filters? I can keep all of my embossing powder right there in one spot. Do I need to put any more on there? I think that's good. I'm sorry, I'm getting cramps in my hands. I do this ever so often. I think this is the first time it's ever happened on camera, but my fingers will kind of go in the wrong direction, and I am so sorry about that, so just bear with me. I'm going to do a little bit more there, because remember, we're not wasting. Whatever doesn't stick is going right back into the jar. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and close that up so I don't blow it all over the place with my heat tool. So I'm going to grab my heat tool. Now this time I'm going to leave the volume on because I don't know. It's already hot, so we're not going to need to heat it as much. So here we go. I'm going to try to see this. And I'm going to do the back of my card to help it lay back down. I'm just heating it. A lot of times just heating your card on the back will help it to lay flat. And look at that shimmer on that. I love it. I don't know if y'all are seeing that shimmer. Look at that. Is that not the most pretty color? Again, like I said, I cannot say enough about the Brutus Monroe embossing powders. They are fantastic. Okay, so now we're just about done with our card. Let's pull it back over. And let's go ahead and glue this on the inside, just like here. Now, if your card warps too much from the heat, something else you can do to help counteract that would be to put it between one piece of folded copy paper and run it through a laminator. and it will iron your card back out so it's not so. It works too if you're doing watercolors or anything like that. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my ATG, because that way I can get adhesive all over it, and it should keep it from looking warped on my card. So I'm just going to run tape all the way up. Just like that. Maybe one more piece in the middle. Or to that side, I should say. And let's bring it back over and see if we can get this adhered down. And again, remember, we only have about 7/8 of an inch all the way around. Yeah, that worked good. Now it's in there nice and flat like I needed it to be. Now, isn't that a cute card? That didn't take very long to make. It's a beautiful, soft, textured card. And then when you open it up, you got cute little Hartley with an I love you, hugs and kisses. And then you got plenty of room to sign here, or even write a note right here. And if you wanted to, you could glue in another piece of paper here and write your sentiment on it, which would be great. I love the way this card turned out. I thought it was very soft, very feminine, very I don't know, just absolutely gorgeous. So I hope you'll try one of these. It was really easy, very simple to do, and yet very striking. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that you will try this card on your own. And maybe if it's not exactly like this, I challenge you, use what you have. If you don't have a heart like I did to die cut, or a punch to punch it, do something totally different. You know, you can always find a way if you try. So you can draw your own heart, you can and cut it out. You might have some stickers that you could use that's got hearts on them. That would work. And the same thing with here. If you don't have a die cut that has a word on it, I didn't have a love. I really wanted I love you, but I didn't have a die cut. But I found cherish and I used it, because cherish says it all. We all want to be cherished, that's for sure. So I'm going to close out. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to our part 1 of our Valentine series, and I am going to put this in a video playlist and call it Valentine's 2020. So that way next year, if you're looking for card ideas, or we have new people to come on, they can just go there and look and see the Valentine cards that we've done. So thanks again for tuning in. God bless you always, and be kind to someone today. Let someone know that they are important to you and that you love them. And as I always say in closing, please, in everything you do, let your life, your voice, your mind, and your body bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is so worthy. Beyond and above anything that we can think, He is worthy. God bless you always. Love you. Bye-bye.